Well, Christian would start boxing up, but then he'd get warped away. He just burns through through the water area. He evaporates the entire water system. AKA, he just burns all the villains, going, Jetaba! Then Christian thinks to himself, how can I beat these guys? How can I beat that giant? He goes to punch the Nomu, going, Jetbird! But then the Nomu catches his punch, wraps his arms around and holds him up in the sky, breaking both of his arms. He goes, ah! As Shigaraki looks at him, but then Shigaraki looks and sees that his chest is building up. Shigaraki goes, what are you doing? What are you planning, brat? Christian isn't talking. He goes, I'm going to kill. As Christian goes, ah! As he breathes fire, going, ah! Da-na-na-na-na. As he goes, roar! As he's burning Shigaraki's face. As the Nomu starts squeezing harder, as Christian, he goes, as he closes his mouth after it hurts too much. After he turns his head, going, ah! Burning the Nomu's face. As he goes, permanent burn! As he burns the Nomu's hands, so that he gets out of the grip with his broken arms. He needs something, so he needs to find the only person who... Then he asks Uraraka to release the gravity on his arms, and she agrees to release the gravity as his hands can raise up to the sky. As they can raise up, he goes, at least I can do this! As they rush at him, he goes, Uraraka, now! She goes, Kaiza! And releases him as he goes, and slaps his hands down, which makes a giant heat wave come. As he goes, and then blasts the Nomu back. He goes, thanks, Uraraka! As he jumps in the air, with his arms miraculously being healed. As he goes, and kicks the Nomu in the face, which doesn't even make it flinch. As he's barraging it in the stomach, going, then he appears behind it going, but none of his punches are even doing a thing. As he goes, what can I do against this guy? And he thinks that he also has nothing to do. As he goes, what would my dad do in this situation? But then he realizes he doesn't really care for Endeavor, since Endeavor did abuse Shoto, him, and Ray. So he thinks to himself, what would he do in this situation, though? Then he thinks, if he makes a big enough firearm, he can lift the Nomu into the sky. Oh my god! He says, Uraraka, I'm gonna need you again to defeat this guy. She goes, okay. But then she's blasted back by punched back by Shiger. She goes, ah! Deku gets pissed and goes, fuck! He goes, one for all. 100% Detroit Smash! And with the 100% smash, knock Shigaraki out. Like Shigaraki is knocked out cold with that Detroit Smash. As she was punched in the face, nothing was decayed since he didn't touch her with 5 fingers. Hit his only 4 fingers because of his knuckles. As he goes, thank you. He goes, no problem, Uraraka. But then he starts to blush and then faints. Christian goes, what an idiot. He faints over a girl? Dang it. He should have some more passion in being a hero. He'll never make it like that. He says, Asui. He says, Suyu, pick him up with your frog tongue. She goes, that's a little dangerous. He goes, just do it, the plan will work. If I see the slightest grip, I'll blow him away. She goes, okay. As she wraps her tongue around him and lifts him up a tiny bit in the sky. He jumps onto him and grabs, and has his feet wrapped around the Nomu's head. As he puts his hand to the Nomu, but then the Nomu's about to bite down on his leg. Then he goes, oh no you don't, as he forces its mouth open. As he goes, this may be gross, but I'm doing it. He opens his mouth and shoots fire out, going, ah! As he obliterates the Nomu's insides. As then the Nomu mouth closes as he goes, now to burn your face! Ah! Which means All Might wouldn't have used a lot of One For All, so that means he has much more One For All in him. Since All Might wouldn't even need to come. Christian's already bodied him. As he goes, ah! Everyone's shocked that this Aizawa is shocked that this kid, has defeated one of the strongest beasts ever. These things are so strong. Did you guys hear that? That's a wrench. I'm kidding. So, when they get back, Aizawa, a couple of weeks later, Aizawa announces the sports festival. And they're ready. Christian says, I'm pumped. For the first round, it's a obstacle course / race. When it starts, Bakugo and Todoroki are in first. Christian's not even bothering, but he's adding fire to his feet so Shoto's ice won't freeze him as he's just running, going, I've ran much more than this. As Minette is beating him, he goes, I'm not letting that freaking pervert beat me. As he jumps in the air, activating fire on his feet as he blasts off, going, Then he adds fire from his hands and blitzes, beating Bakugo since he's got it from his hands and feet. And then he surpasses Todoroki as he goes over the tightrope, easily blasting over it. Then the landmines. He burns all the landmines. So then once someone steps in there, they'll start exploding. Well, they do. So many people are getting exploded. Bakugo even gets hit. He goes, damn you, Firehead! As he finally makes it. Being the first one, going, the racist! Okay, I don't know why I did that. My truth is heavy as a joke. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm remembering a song. So, after that, we'd head straight into the cavalry. He would just team up with the Zuko and pretty much body everyone. Taking last place though, because of the Tenya strategy. Now it's time for the first one. Christian is versus the Vine Girl. He goes, so I'm up against you. It's the ultimate nature showdown, grass versus fire. As you know, fire beats grass. As she shoots her vines at him, he doesn't even want to. He gets caught by them, but he just burns all the vines. He goes, my hair's on fire! But it's not really on fire, it's just the vines. He goes, and makes his hands in the X-shaped form as he launches them forward. Then a giant heat wave comes and obliterates her, knocking her out of the ring. He goes, that was easy. As he walks out of the arena, cold as ever, going, so weak. He watches Midoriya's match and realizes something. Then something snaps in him. When All Might did his quirk, he saw some red markings on him when he did his quirk, and then they faded when he stopped doing the quirk. So Christian realizes Midoriya and All Might have a connection. As when Christian walks out just to go see Midoriya, when Midoriya says, oh, hey, as he's pinned to a wall, Christian says, what's your connection to All Might? He goes, and why was I the only one able to see it? He goes, see what? He goes, who were those figures in the background? Those weird, shadowy green figures. Who are they? Come on. We could play at 8. Just stop. So when he says that, he goes, I don't even know. As he charges up a blast from his hand, saying, you better know, Midoriya. As he says, because I'm going to find out your secret. And then when I find it out, I'm going to tell everybody your secret. And how you... Okay, so... Then when All Might walks up, he says, All Might. He says, All Might, what's your secret? He goes, what do you mean? What do you mean? He says, I was in front of you. And I know for a fact that that I was the only one besides you and Midoriya to see those 7 figures. Now tell me who they were. Now! As he charges up a blast. He goes, whoa, no need to get so feisty, young Todoroki. He goes, you're going to tell me. He goes, as he throws it. Oh yeah, I hate how Tokoyami's called Fumikage Tokoyami. It should be Tokoyami Fumikage. It makes no sense. They just did that to rub it in my face, didn't they? You can try and swing me. Da! So then he heads to his own room, saying, screw this. Now we're into the quarterfinals. It's Christian versus Bakugo. I'm kidding. It's him versus Ida. He thinks that if he burns Ida's engines up, then it'll be hard for them to move. But that fails horribly, and he's kicked out of the arena. Almost. But then he floats up with this fire going, Ida can't reach me if I'm in the air. He goes, ah! And shoots a giant heat wave, which Ida can't dodge unless he gets out of the ring. As he goes, ah! As he falls, and Christian blitzes right next to him and blasts him out with fire as Ida goes, ah! Christian smiles going, I'm ready. Let's just go on to the final match. Christian versus Todoroki. And it's the final match. Todoroki shoots ice as Christian burns the ice going as he launches more fire until Shoto's obliterated with it. He goes, as Shoto finally starts to use their fire, and they have a fire clash, but Christian is on point since he's been using fire for so much longer. But then he thinks to himself, bah! He yells out, as everyone's like, this kid's nuts. They say, this kid's nuts. But then, fire appears around his neck, as he goes, bah! As then he shoots fire out of his mouth. Shoto tries to freeze him, but then the fire from his neck would burn throughout his body, which would make it stop, which would melt all the ice as he goes, bah! As he shoots fire out of his mouth, obliterating Shoto's ice and him, knocking him out of the arena, as he's the winner. Next, let's go on to the Stain arc. Deku would get an internship to train with Gran Torino. Christian would just train randomly, I don't know, at a father's agency. I don't give a crap until it's the target with Stain. Christian would interfere. When all of them are down, Christian would blast down, going, ah! As he shoots it, like, kind of like a Bakugo explosion in his face. Going, ah! He goes, ooh, as Christian creates a fire punch and punches Stain away. As he goes, come on, you idiots, get back up. As he creates a jet burn going, ah! And launches it, which burns him in the stomach. Cuts Stain in the stomach a million times. He goes, heat wave! As that hits Stain as well, as he's just launching all kinds of fire attacks, but then Stain's behind him and stabs him almost. It barely even skims him, which doesn't make blood come out, but Christian grabs Stain's sword with flames in his hand so it won't cut him, as he breaks Stain's sword in half, then grabs his sword and burns it. Then he kicks Stain in the face and burns his face off. He says, guys! Midoriya and Ida both clap him. And then we're going to move on to the hero entrances exams thingies. It's Christian and Todoroki versus... Look, I couldn't think of anything else. It's actually him versus one. It's one student, because they've seen that he's really strong. He's able to take on. And this is not even him at his full power. So, they decide to put him against Endeavor. Like, they don't know how this match is going to go, but they think it's going to go horribly. No one has faith in Christian to beat Endeavor besides Todoroki, and besides Shoto and Deku, who have and actually his whole class has faith in him. While Bakugo, Kirishima, Kaminari, and Jiro have no faith in him. There's no way, actually, that everyone has faith in him except for Bakugo, because it's Bakugo. He doesn't have faith in anyone. A lot of people think he can win, don't really think that he can outmatch Endeavor, because he is the number 2 hero. Says, I have to fight against my old man, huh? This is gonna be a really hard match. There's no way I'm winning this. But I'll try my best as a hero. As it starts, Christian sees a blazing light come down, and he goes, ah! And blasts up himself. Everyone says, Baku says, he's got guts if he's flying right up there, right at him. He's got guts, I could tell you that. He's not afraid to go into a battle, as seen by he burn that Nomu's face off without hesitation. As he goes, ah! and moves his left hand to the right as he blasts to the left and then blasts right back up and punches Endeavor as a gut with a jet burn punch as he goes. Endeavor's blasted back, but they have an air-sky battle as they're going. Christian is terrible with this, but he's still winning as he goes. As it's really hard to win this. Then Christian goes. As fire appears on his neck again. As it's a huge power boost. Because he's got as he shoots fire from his mouth and his hands and his legs going. Which is a humongous power blast. Which Endeavor just stops with a prominence flash. Which Christian says, I'll use my own version. Heat wave! And they clash. Christian thinks there's no way he can beat him with normal fire, and blue fire's not activated. He doesn't have the blue fire that Toya did. As he blasts Endeavor with fire, they both clash, but Endeavor's fire is winning. He goes, damn it! Why won't my quirk work? Damn it! As he lets himself get hit by the blast. But then... I'll put him in a room, but I'm not going in there.
Well, wait, or if he's in lockdown already, just like leave him in.
I think he was just sleeping, so I think he's gonna get. What are you making? Can I have one?
Just don't keep talking. Yeah, I'll make you.
Can I come in and try this one, dude?
Yeah, just stay over there. I'll make it. Go finish your stream.
Fine.
What?
Back to the video. So the blue fire still, with the flyer keep on clashing. It's real. What? I guess I'll stop then.